All right, we're back. We're looking at more toys. We're opening all the stuff. You know, this time we are comparing the Justice League kind of thing. So if you want to check out the unboxing for that, check out this video over here. It's that DC Icons unboxing I posted a few months ago. This one here is specifically talking about the Justice League comparisons. So we're looking at the original ones that came out individually, and we're comparing them to the DC Rebirth ones that came in the 7th pack. So, you know, here we go, let's check it out. So we're gonna start off with the figures that don't really look any different at all in terms of the comparison. So we're gonna start off with Green Lantern. So honestly, I have no idea which one of these is the Green Lantern from the Rebirth series, but this is the basic comparison. They're identical. Like there's no difference between them. They're exactly the same height. You know, they both look sad. The better one, honestly, is the, let's see here. I think the one that's the one that came from the original one is the one where the arm keeps falling off. So, well, both their arms fall off pretty easily. So, not much to say there. But I think this is probably the one that's from the Rebirth one because this leg is just so freaking loose. I mean, look at that. I'm not even positioning it. Look how loose that leg is. This is what I mean by quality control from DC Icons. It's terrible. DC Icons is just awful. So the next one we're gonna look at Cyborg over here. So this one for sure, this is the one that is from the individual package. So this one is the one from the Justice League Rebirth comparison. They're both identical, I think. They're the same size about, I think exactly really. The only difference between the two is that the one that where it comes individually comes with a bunch of accessories, and the accessories on that one is actually pretty good. So you can see over here, there's like a little bit of an arm cannon right over here on this Cyborg. And that one is really cool because there's a bunch of different arms that you can put on him. Because, you know, he's Cyborg, he can put like a bunch of different stuff on, which is, you know, pretty cool for an action figure. I will say though that if you were to look at the accessories that he comes with these little metal tendrils that are supposed to attach into this box, like it's an extra power source or something, but it's almost impossible really to link them together because it's so stiff, those little metal things. This one here also has an open fist here, and this one here it's just closed fist Cyborg. I don't remember if the original one has the same kind of thing, but you know, pretty much the Rebirth one is just a very bare bones minimum Cyborg. So moving on, we're gonna look at Aquaman. So let's look at the Rebirth figure first. So this is the Rebirth figure. These two, they actually look very different. So here is the Rebirth figure here. And he, in my opinion, he looks really good because I really like the texture on his skin and his face sculpt. I like it also, and I like the fins that he has too. See, this is a good, solid action figure, I would say. There's not really much there's no accessories for any of the DC Rebirth ones. This one, on the other hand, this is the DC Icon, the original DC Icons one, and you can tell that he is about a little shorter. So let's take this off also, just so you can see for scale what he looks like. So they're about the same height. Just the DC Icon original one is a little bit smaller, and the head is smaller too. So it's definitely noticeably different from them. You can also notice the green on their legs. They're different colors as well. They both do have the fins on their bodies, but the Rebirth one has more pronounced fins. Like they're sharper. These ones are softer over here. You can see from this fin and this fin, this one is clearly sharper than this fin here. In terms of posability, they're pretty much the same. Yeah, the difference for this one here is that he does come with some cool accessories. Of course, he comes with his trident, which is cool, but this Aquaman also comes with another head where you could put a horn there, which kind of symbolizes him calling for his sea friends. So, you know, this one has a little bit more like play and fun to it. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman toy. So this one here, this is the Rebirth edition. And this one here, I have a lot of gripes with the Wonder Woman toy in general, to be honest. This one here, it's not as bad. It's definitely an improvement, in my opinion, from the original Wonder Woman. Now, unfortunately, I know I've mentioned it and I sound like a broken record. There's no accessories for any of the DC Rebirth action figures. So there is Diana Prince, and then this is the other Diana Prince. This is the other Wonder Woman that came, I think, in the middle of production for them. So there is a very large difference between these two. There's already the height. There's the color and the look. I'm gonna have to hold her like this because this Wonder Woman is really hard to stand. It's very annoying. So right away you can tell the differences are the height. There's at least, I want to say, like about an inch to half an inch of a size difference in the head right over there. They do have very similar hair if you want to compare like the direction of how they're kind of windswept, and they have very similar faces as well. But the difference in the two, of course, they come from just how the DC Rebirth costumes are. So there's the different skirt, there's the color on the skirt with the gold kind of outlines there. There's the boots as well. There's red boots versus these ones which are, you know, blue and silver. There's some knee pads that she has here. In terms of up here, she's wearing more gold, and here it's more silver. And if you were to look at it from this angle, it's very much the same body mold. It's just bigger. So I think that the Rebirth one is definitely much better because of the ability to stand on her own. The small one is really hard to stand just because they're both wearing like heels or something, less surface area. The original Justice League DC Icons one, it does come with more accessories, which is cool. It comes with a shield, it comes with a sword and a lasso. And the cool thing also about this is that well, it's not cool because it's actually really hard to put the shield on. There's this little thing that she wears on her arm. This is how you put the shield on her, and it doesn't even stay secure. So the Wonder Woman is not a very good, it's not a very good action figure, honestly. It looks cool if you can get her to stay, but she just can't stand very well. The next one we're going to look at is the Flash. So that is the Flash over here. This is a very noticeable difference between this one here and the DC Icons, the original DC Icons Flash figure here. I like this one much better because of the material and texture they choose to paint the Flash with. It's definitely a step up. This one here though, this monstrosity, this is the Flash from the original one, and it may not look all that different, but if you were to look at the Flash, the faces of the Flash for either one, this here, the face of the Flash looks really fantastic. This one over here, I mean, he has no expression. He's just looking at you. That's it. Also, there's the noticeable lines that you can see on this Flash Rebirth versus this one here where there's no lines. The problem though with this Flash is that the material from here, it feels like a really cheap plastic, kind of like those dollar toys that you get and they're made of that cheap red plastic. That's what I would liken the original DC Icons Flash to, and it's just a really ugly paint job. I did get this from Kato for like a super discounted price. And this one here comes with a cosmic treadmill, which is not very good. It's just it's just plastic, but very fragile plastic. You can also see here on the side, or side comparisons, they are about the same height. I would say that the Rebirth Flash is just a little bit taller. And also on the ears, if you can kind of see this here, I had to glue this on because the wing on the Flash's helmet, it kept breaking off. So this one here, the Flash is definitely like one of my least favorite DC icon toys, and that's a very large disappointment considering that he's my favorite character next to Batman. So this one is very disappointing. The Rebirth one is definitely a step up, but they all kind of just suffer from the general DC icons quality control and posability. So now we're getting down to the wire. The next one that we're going to look at is, of course, is the Dark Knight himself. So this one here was one of the special, there's only 2 that came in just individual packaging. So for the DC Rebirth DC Icons line, they had either the 7-pack where you can get the entire Justice League, or you could get the individual pack of just Superman and Batman. So of course, they put the 2 most popular characters for the individual releases, but the other ones you have to buy the 7-pack. So right away here, I can tell you that this one is really, really good. The build is good, and some people, they like the costume for the new Batman, some of them don't. I like it. I like the purple cape in the back. It's kind of cool. So this one here, definitely a good pickup if you ever want to get one. Now this one here, in retrospect, it's kind of tricky. So this is the original Batman that came out early on in the line here, and I got this from a seller from Open Box Mafia, and he sold me, it's like a customized one where like the legs were kind of broken so that they can do like a thigh twist, but it actually just kind of ruined the figure. This one here, if you were to get this one originally, this is a very good figure because the color is fantastic, the face sculpt is great on Batman, and it's just a very well done Batman figure. I will say that early on in the DC Icons one thing that they had a problem with was that you couldn't really move the legs up and down. You could really only move it in like a certain angle. So that means you couldn't have them sit, which was kind of lame. And then later on, the later lines, there's like a pivot that you have on the thigh over here where you can kind of move it up and down. I'll show you here on the other Batman if I can stand this one here. So this one here, if you'll notice, there's a slight little pull pivot here so that you can pull it out and you kind of twist it more straight. Otherwise, if you couldn't, you really couldn't even get to go straight. So, in terms of posability, they were very just like, you couldn't move the legs. Like the arms, they had the arms right, but they didn't get the legs right. This one here was customized so that it's cut over here where his underwear is and his thigh, so that you could give it a little, like a twist all around there, if you can see that. And that was supposed to be able to give you like a little bit more posability for this action figure. But the trade-off is that this Batman figure can't really stand too well without some tape. I have some tape on his butt to make him hold a little better. Of course, you can right away, you can easily see there's a big difference. I don't have to tell you too much about that. The color is different, the size is different between the 2 Batman action figures. I can definitely see why this one was criticized because of the scale of everything. But overall, both these Batman are very good because they're great sculpts. And here we go. Here's the very last Justice League member we have here. So we have Superman over here. This is the Rebirth Superman. And like the thing about this one here is that both Batman and Superman came in their individual packaging and they had no accessories. And then it was like, why pay $28 for something with no accessories? And that's kind of how the DC Essentials is coming out to be too, because there's no accessories. So it kind of feels like you're getting gypped. But Superman, I definitely feel like I am getting gypped. But if you compare it with the original Superman from DC Icons, it's not so much about getting gypped as opposed to finally doing justice to the action figure. So in my opinion, the original Superman is just very ugly. Like his face looks really bad. I mean, he has the cool little hair that comes out. That's a nice touch. But I don't like this. I just don't like the material he's printed on. I don't like it's just not a very good Superman, to be honest. He's just not. This Superman though, it's not really an upgrade either. it's just bigger. So I prefer the bigger Superman over this smaller Superman, because this one here, it's like if you were to compare it with, see what I mean? Wonder Woman can't stand. So if you were to compare Batman with Superman, they look exactly the same pretty much, but I feel like Superman, this alien Kryptonian, he should be just a little bit bigger, but they're not. They're the same size. So if we were to look at the size comparisons between the two, of course the Rebirth Superman is bigger, which is the plus side. This one here is just way too small. Definitely the Rebirth one is better. In terms of accessories, the accessories that come with the Superman one, they're pretty cool. He comes with a weird alien dude. I don't know what it's from, but he comes with an alien guy. The posability is, they're both the same in terms of like where everything goes, but this one here is like, this is the thing I was trying to describe for the original Batman. So here, if you bring it up, that's as much as you can go up for it to be straight. Otherwise it has to roll off to the side for you to bring it higher, and you can't bring it higher than that. So with the Rebirth figures and the later figures in the series, what they did is they created an ankle joint over here, or a pivot joint, not for the ankle, for the thigh, and then you can bring it up just slightly more. I will say though that it makes them very much more fragile, because they're just very cheap plastic and they're very prone to breakage. So there you go, guys. That is my comparison for the Justice League DC Icon set. So individually, these cost at retail $28 a piece, except for the Cyborg, which was originally, I think it was $50, and Green Lantern was also an additional $50, because they came with accessories. And this is just kind of new news there, but the Green Lantern original figure that came out had some pretty cool accessories, but they also did not fit very well. And the John Stewart Green Lantern was actually a much better Green Lantern in terms of accessories and building all of that. In Cyborg's case, the accessories were cool because you could swap out his limbs, but the little box thing where these little metal antennae, they do not connect very well because they're so stiff. And for the pack for the 7-figure Justice League Rebirth, those actually came out at a fantastic price. I got them for $47 at Barnes & Noble when they were clearance. But if you were to get those at the original price, it was $100, I think, for the original price for it. But even with that, if you were to divide that by 7, the amount per figure is actually pretty reasonable. Overall, the verdict that I would say is that the DC Rebirth figures, the newest edition, are better figures overall in terms of their build and quality and how they look, the materials that are used. Unfortunately, they don't have any accessories, which kind of just lowers them in a rank of how much better they are. So it's kind of split even. It's kind of trade-offs at this point. So either if you want better figures that look better, then sure, the DC Rebirth ones are better. But if you want the accessories to play with pose, the original series of action figures are better. With that being said, the review for the 7-piece action figure set on Amazon is very low because of the quality control issues of limbs breaking off right out of the box. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. There's one more video coming out after this, which is the Doomsday Superman review, and then I'm wrapping up all the DC Icons reviews. I want to thank Ryan Gilchrist for editing all these videos, because he's a big help to me for editing. And also subscribe to me over here for more videos, and as well as my Instagram at little_nerd_busters for more stories and photos. Those come out way faster. Until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. Adios.